He's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears. Quickly, it's a real heater. Once my friend, he's a locker room leader. In the chaos, he's the center, turning us into believers.
And ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday night. It is 7 p.m. That means it is time once again for the Locker Room Breakdown. And this is our Raw perspective. So ladies and gentlemen, I do want to hear from you. I want your thoughts on Monday Night Raw. We are going to break down everything that happened last week and preview everything that is going to happen tonight. We are an hour away from Monday Night Raw in Sacramento, California. And that means at 8 o'clock, it is also time for the Raw Patrol. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is upon us. This is WrestleMania week, and we kick things off tonight. We're going to have to figure it out. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to last week and see how things shaped up leading into WrestleMania and what we can anticipate tonight. We were told last week that Seth Rollins was slated to open Monday Night Raw, and we got CM Punk kicking off Raw. Now, this was not done to further the previous storyline between Punk and Rollins before his injuries. This was to further Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Punk went out, cut a scathing promo that a lot of people I know are referring to as Pipe Bomb 2.0. I don't think I would go that far with it. It was authentic. It was genuine CM Punk, who really showed that it doesn't have to be a babyface versus babyface matchup at WrestleMania. Punk went out there and was, like I said, very genuine, very authentic, very true to himself, even calling out the fans in Houston. Yes, he called out the WWE Universe because he talked about the people he admired growing up, the Harley Races, Paul Bosch, and then referenced the fact that Roman Reigns was not in the building. And the fans, of course, started chanting OTC, OTC. And Punk said, you know what? I am not going to trade my authenticity for your approval. I'm not going to change who I am because you people want to dictate it. He did go on to explain that if Roman Reigns hates him, then he's right where he needs to be. But he explained why he hates, why he loathes Roman Reigns, and it has nothing to do with Paul Heyman. It has nothing to do with the Survivor Series and War Games from a couple of years ago when they teamed up. It had to do with Roman's being plastic, artificial, essentially a corporate reconstruction. And I applaud CM Punk for that because we don't get enough people telling us that, you know what, I'm going to be who I am. I'm not going to be tied to a script. I'm not going to be tied to this. I'm not going to be tied to that. And I'm not going to be tied to some catchphrase, even though we know that he is when he refers to himself as the best in the world. However, he wasn't done with Roman Reigns. He called out TKO. He called out The Rock. Because again, he cannot be controlled. He cannot be tamed, and he is not there to toe the company line, so to speak, because he is CM Punk. He is not Cody Rhodes. He is not Roman Reigns. He is not a John Cena. He is not any of those guys. He's not the guy out there that we hear or see a lot of doing the media, doing the late night circuits, and anything like that. What we see and what we hear from CM Punk is genuine, it is real, it is authentic, and I am here for it. However, he took things a step further and then called out Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, who was involved in a completely different storyline on SmackDown, nothing to do with Punk, but Pat McAfee is an ESPN guy, and we all know that ESPN does carry the WWE PLEs in the United States. And he called him out for coming into his world, his business, this thing that he loves, and becoming a corporate shell, essentially. Basically, getting a cheap shot in for the sake of getting a cheap shot in. This was not needed. This could have been left for SmackDown, but I appreciate where he's coming from because we know as fans, it is so hard to afford tickets nowadays. So I do appreciate Punk doing it, saying, you know what, we need to get the ticket prices lowered. Is CM Punk the next guy that you want to fear with a live microphone, much like a Scott Steiner used to be? No. CM Punk, like I said, is genuine, authentic, and the real deal when it comes to himself on that microphone. Will we hear from CM Punk tonight? We're going to find that out in a little while when we hit the preview section of the show. We then go backstage and we see IShowSpeed confronted by Adam Pearce asking him, what are you doing here? Danhausen shows up and Speed asks him, dude, please reverse the curse. Logan Paul and Austin Theory, our World Tag Team Champions, show up and say, the only place you're safe is out there with us. Don't go back to the locker room. Don't go home. You're in danger if you're in the parking lot by yourself. And IShowSpeed very reluctantly went out to the ringside area with them because we got to our first match of the night. Austin Theory and L.A. Knight. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, this was a good match, but it could have been so much more. I mean, what can I say? I mean, you've got one of the best young blue chip prospects in Austin Theory. You've got that hard-nosed, grizzled veteran. I don't want to call him the next CM Punk, but when you get him on a mic, I'd love to see him go unfiltered in LA Knight. This match did not last long enough for my liking, though it was a good, solid match. And Theory did have control, but he also had the numbers game with having Speed and having Logan Paul at ringside. ISO Speed was sitting back by the commentary desk, being protected. But then Logan Paul took him and threw him into LA Knight, which created a distraction. And this was where it really got to be a little bit too much. Yes, this is where you get the throwback in and the quick roll up from Austin Theory to get the pinfall victory. So Theory beat LA Knight. However, as he tried to get out of the ring, ISO Speed was confronted in the aisleway as he had LA Knight chasing him back up the ramp, and then the Usos came out. ISO Speed able to jump over Knight, get back into the ring, where he's then confronted with the numbers game against him as Logan Paul and Austin Theory bailed. Guys, like, really do better, please. At this point, LA Knight grabs the microphone, calls out Adam Pearce, and issues a challenge for a 6-man tag team match at WrestleMania, with him and the Usos taking on Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and ISO Speed. Guys, I don't know what to tell you here. This was predictable. This really didn't get my motor going. Now, we found out that this is going to be the second match on night 1 of the show, so it will be live and free on ESPN2. Is something going to happen there? We here at the Locker Room Breakdown did a WrestleMania preview and predictions show yesterday with myself and Mr. Chris Best, so please go back, check that out. But Adam Pearce did make the match official, so we are going to get this at WrestleMania. I really don't know where we go from here with this. But ladies and gentlemen, where you can go with all of us is straight to our shop.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at turnbucklestudios.org.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Turnbucklestudios.org is your home for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. We want you to support your favorite shows and your favorite podcasters. Wear what we wear. And all of those proceeds come back into our studios to bring you a better experience. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, we had a teacher versus student matchup scheduled. Now, we went in and we were wondering, is this going to be one-on-one? Do we get that jump during the intros? Do we get interference later in the match? We got the jump during the intros as Finn Balor was set to take on JD McDonough, and with JD already in the ring. I apologize. As Finn Balor was making his way out, he was attacked from behind by Dominic Mysterio. The match did not get started. Finn was able to fight back, cleared JD, but then got rocked with the AAA Mega Championship, which is not on the line, at WrestleMania. I am okay with this. I know that there are people out there that think that the belt should be on the line and Dom should defend it. And that could change as early as tonight. We don't know. We will have to wait and see. But JD and Dom proceeded to beat down Finn Balor 2-on-1, and nobody came out to assist Finn. Nobody came out to make the save, anything like that. But very, very interesting what happened shortly after. We got a taped video of Finn Balor congratulating them on getting that one up, on getting that numbers game. But Finn Balor proceeded to tell Dom, you know, you've only ever seen one side of me. You've awakened something within me that I thought was gone. It's been awakened, and it was then made official as we are going to get the Demon versus Dirty Dom at WrestleMania. This is intriguing. I wish they would have waited on the Demon announcement instead of making it an announcement. Just have it be a complete mind game at WrestleMania. Really set the people for that WrestleMania moment, that WrestleMania surprise. Up next, we had a very, very interesting sit-down interview as Michael Cole was sitting down to interview our Women's Intercontinental Champion, AJ Lee. However, as Michael barely got the first question out, he was interrupted by Becky Lynch, who sat down to have a face-to-face with AJ. There was no physicality. This was an attempt by Becky Lynch to get inside AJ's head. This was an attempt by AJ to get inside Becky's head. AJ did remind Becky, look, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here. I'm the one that broke the glass ceiling. I'm the one that opened those doors for you. And then AJ said, not only am I your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, not only am I your favorite wrestler, I'm your daughter's favorite wrestler. And she walked off, leaving Becky throwing furniture and visibly frustrated and upset. As we get ready for a fatal four-way Women's Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen, there are still questions to be answered. Are the Bellas ready to go? Are they going to be able to compete? If they're not, who do you replace them with? But we had Lash Legend, one half of your women's tag team champions, the Irresistible Forces, go one-on-one with the future Hall of Famer, Bayley. And ladies and gentlemen, these women brought it. Now, I am a huge Lash Legend fan, and she grows on me each and every week. Mr. Best, great to see you. Thank you for stopping in as always, and I cannot wait to join you very, very shortly for the Raw Patrol. This was perhaps the match of the night. And you had a young, up-and-coming member of the women's division versus the experienced veteran, the one who wants to help improve and ensure the growth of the women's division, as well as secure herself a tag team championship. And as much as Lash controlled the match, Bayley's intelligence, Bayley's experience shone through. And it was very funny because Lash went for a superplex only to have her foot held on the rope by Lyra Valkyria. And she got tripped, which led to Bayley stealing the win. So we saw a little bit of heel tactics, a little bit of aggression out of Bayley and Lyra. And ladies and gentlemen, I am here for it because this is the Women's Tag Team Champions. This is WrestleMania. It's time to take the kid gloves off. All bets are off and anything goes. With the women's tag team titles, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to double down for WrestleMania. We did also get Charlotte and Alexa coming to the ring, but they got laid out by Becky and Nia Jax. There was no need for Charlotte and Alexa in this match, though I understand why. This should have been something that happened post-match to really show where they're at for the women's tag team titles. This did not need to happen during the match. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, the man that was supposed to kick off Monday Night Raw. We heard from Seth Rollins, who said, you know, I can't think of why Gunther would enter into a business arrangement with Paul Heyman. There's never been any issues between me and Gunther. There has never been any bad blood. This isn't personal. Gunther came out, tried to attack him, but Rollins ducked out of the way. The two brawled before they got separated by security. For Seth, it might not be personal. For Gunther, I can understand. It was Gunther who had lost the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam when Seth Rollins pulled the ruse of the century, revealed that he had feigned his knee injury and cashed in Money in the Bank to capture the World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk. And Gunther never actually got his rematch or his opportunity to regain that World Heavyweight Championship. But backstage, as we see Gunther trying to leave, we did see him talking to Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman saying, you know, I don't know why you did what you did, but I owe you a very big thank you. He didn't offer a debt of gratitude. He didn't offer anything like that. And Gunther said to him, after WrestleMania, you owe me so much more than a very big thank you. What does that mean for Gunther? What is this foreshadowing? This is very, very intriguing to me. This can set up a story for both Seth and Gunther through the month of May and in the build towards the summer. I am intrigued by where this can go. Do we see Gunther arrive to the ring with Paul Heyman at WrestleMania? Does Paul Heyman get involved in this in some way? There are a lot of moving parts in this scenario. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot to unpack with all of this. Up next, we went to a very, very confusing matchup for me, so to speak, as we had Penta, Dragon Lee, and Javon Evans, who are all going to be facing off against each other in the 6-person ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship Night 2 of WrestleMania, taking on El Grande and Los Americanos. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this really didn't make sense. Are you trying to build a narrative and build a group around Penta to protect the Intercontinental Championship? Are you trying to showcase what all three of these men can do, especially when the Americanos have absolutely nothing to do at WrestleMania and they're not involved in the picture? Decent match for what it was, but it was, another 6-man tag. This was something that I didn't really need. If you wanted chaos to set up WrestleMania, there were better ways that this could have been done. In the end, we did see Javon Evans pick up the win for his team. But guys, I like the move, I like the height, I like the style, and I love the flash. But we need to get Javon Evans a new finisher because, as I've stated before, just about everybody seems to do a cutter these days. This situation has me shaking my head. But when the match was over, all of a sudden, out comes Rey Mysterio? Like, really? A guy who has been injured, a guy who had no particular destination for WrestleMania, and no need to be in the ring, no need to be going to WrestleMania, comes out and says, this match needs a little bit of Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio interjects himself into the ladder match, making it a 6-way ladder match. Why? Why? This was absolutely unnecessary and absolutely pointless. Now we go backstage and we see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Rhea Ripley making an appearance on Raw since heading over to SmackDown, since she is challenging Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the undisputed WWE Women's Championship. So we were getting the reunion of Rio, and I am okay with that. And they were going to take on Jade Cargill's girls of Michin and BFAB. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is WrestleMania season. It is all hands on deck. But we also saw in the background Austin Theory talking with Maxine Dupree. Is something in the works there? Again, we can only wait and see. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cover the main event here of Rio versus Michin and BFAB in just a moment. But I want you to take a look at all of our programming for you here throughout the week.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday, we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday, we go TNA as we brace for Impact at 9 p.m. On Fridays, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday, be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. And later that night, we have the Borstnest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day. And please visit turnbucklestudios.org.
And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to announce right here, right now, we will be back next Monday in our regular slot for the Locker Room Breakdown as we get ready to preview the Raw after WrestleMania. But beginning Sunday, April 26th at 7 p.m., we are going to undergo some changes. The Locker Room Breakdown will be moving to Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. We are going to cover Raw. We are going to cover SmackDown. We are going to cover everything between the two shows. It will become the Locker Room Wrestling Recap, ladies and gentlemen. There are going to be more guests, more hosts, more analysis, more reaction. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bearing with me during all of that. TurnbuckleStudios.org is your home for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, and we want you to meet the team. Myself, Chris Best, Chris Parrish, Bubba Duke, and Carl Carafel. Click on each of our individual links to get our socials and watch our latest weekly live episodic shows. All of that and so much more at turnbucklestudios.org. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Michin and BFAB are coming out to take on the team of Rio. Yes, a reunited Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. This was a tag team clinic on the part of BFAB and Michin, cutting off the ring, using half, showcasing what they are becoming as a tag team, and I hope that we can get to see them in the women's tag team title picture in the near future. With Jade at ringside, she came over, she caused a distraction as Io was down, had made herself free, but she pulled Rhea off the apron, leaving her laid out outside, and Io still does a schoolgirl, picks up the win, only to then get beaten down. And yes, BFAB and Michin went to the kendo sticks. They brought them in. They beat them down. And then as Jade proceeded to beat Io down, BFAB and Michin did hold Rhea in the corner, making her watch, not letting her move, restraining her. Something that we have seen time and again, and it never really gets old given the circumstances behind it. We then went to Mr. Best. Yes, he did say the ladder match was an open challenge for Penta, but still, I don't think we needed to add Rey Mysterio. I think that that was an absolutely pointless move on the part of WWE and on their creative. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we had a contract signing to close the show, or did we? Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi. And both Triple H and Adam Pearce were there for the contract signing. Paul Heyman introduced Brock Lesnar, of course, And Oba came to the ring to a huge, huge ovation. But we didn't even get to put pen to paper before the fight was on. Brock Lesnar jumped Oba, and they just brawled. We saw chairs being thrown. We saw them jumping through the security. We saw them tossing security left, right, and center. What is going to happen? Are we going to go to another unsanctioned? Are we going to go to a street fight? I think, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think there is a way to contain these two in the confines of Allegiant Stadium. I don't think there is a way to control these two and confine them to a ring. Chaos reigned. We didn't get pen to paper. Are we going to get more on that situation tonight? We are going to find out here in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the preview. And I know it feels a little bit rushed, but we do need your help.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, turnbucklestudios.org is your home for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. We want you to join us. So send us your credentials via email. Tell us how you think you can help us, how you believe we can help you. We will sit down as a collective and find the right fit. All of this and so much more at turnbucklestudios.org. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know. They've left it open-ended. It is up in the air. Adam Pearce is keeping his cards close to his vest tonight. We do know Roman Reigns is coming back tonight. No, he is not returning. He is coming back tonight after taking last week off. Do we get another face-to-face and physical confrontation with him and CM Punk? I don't think we need that tonight. I think now you need to keep them separate and let them just verbally joust each other after, with one starting, one with a response a little bit later. I don't think we need the physicality. I don't believe we need the interruptions. But yes, CM Punk is in the house. Seth Rollins is in the house. Gunther is in the house. This I do expect to get physical. This is where I think it is going to become personal. And this is where I do believe that Gunther is going to explain his actions. This is where I think Gunther is going to step out and say, you stole the title from the guy who beat me, and I never got my rematch because you got injured. I've gone on and I've retired John Cena. I've retired AJ Styles in the time that you've been away. So, this is why I'm doing it. And as well, ladies and gentlemen, Chaos ended last week's show with that contract signing. Both Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar are in the house. This is a situation where Brock has consistently given Oba the rub. The Royal Rumble and each of the last few weeks as they have built and built and built towards this match. I think this is a situation, again, where you maybe need to do that contract signing. Do it in somebody's office in the back and don't do it face to face. Have each of them sign the contract individually. And then if you really, really want to or need to, you can have chaos erupt throughout the arena. That for me would make sense. But again, this is a situation where I would try and keep those two apart heading into WrestleMania. I am certain we are going to hear from The Vision. I am certain we are going to hear from the Usos and LA Knight. I'm certain Danhausen's going to be there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Raw before WrestleMania. And Old Town Sacramento is going to have a hard time keeping a lid on things. Ladies and gentlemen, this begins the busiest 2 weeks of the wrestling calendar for all of us. And we thank you for being here. I thank you for joining me. Please stay tuned for the Raw Patrol coming up in about 20 minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, before I head out of here, I would like to remind you all that the world is better with you in it. From all of us here at the Locker Room Breakdown and Turnbuckle Studios, to those of you out there wherever you are, good night, good luck. I'm out.
You'll find loves bad hockey teams can't deny. His best friend is just a hand so true, loyal until his friend goes number 2. During the heat of the game, it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears. Quickly, it's a real hero.